In this problem, I need to graph a scatter plot, and when you're doing this in Connect Math, it's a little bit tricky. So I'm going to walk you through some of the steps here. The first thing that you need to do is select one of the radio buttons, and now we're going to graph that point. So you need to keep alternating between clicking on a radio button for a specific point and then graphing that point on the Cartesian coordinate system. So this first one, I have the point 1.83, 3.47. So the first coordinate is your x-axis, and I'm going to go along my x-axis until I get to 1.83, and that's going to be somewhere between 1.8 and 1.84. So I approximate it. I don't have to be spot on. I want to be as close as possible, and I know 1.83 is closer to 1.84 than it is to 1.8, so I want to lean towards the 1.84. And then my y-coordinate is 3.47, so from here I'm going to go straight up until I get to 3.47, which is going to be halfway between 3.46 and 3.48. So this is exactly where I want to click. And there's my point. So I click there with the mouse, and I've graphed my point. So next, I'm going to select another point. I have 1.65, 3.43, and I do the same thing, go through the same procedure. So 1.65 is going to be about here, and then 3.43, again, halfway in between, so roughly there. And I've graphed my point. And I can do these in any order that I want to. It's easier if you go in order, because then you'll keep track of what you've graphed. But I'm going to skip to this one, and the reason is when I go to graph that, then let's see, I've got 1.96 and 3.58. Oh, look at that. Okay, so that's the point that we have graphed already. And what I wanted to point out was that's precisely on your the lines here. So you just want to be right on there, and this is a good point. So just make sure that you have that radio button selected when you graph that point, and that way it will know to grade you correctly. So once you've gone through and you've graphed all 8 of your points, so now I've got all 8 of my points graphed, and then I'm going to, let's see, I don't have it on the screen here, but you can click the check your answer button in order to record that. And if they ask you for another part before you have to submit this, then you'll do that other part before you submit. But I think they'll have you submit the graph. One thing to be very careful about, I really wish that they had chosen a better symbol here. Be careful of this green arrow, which to me looks like a submit button, because green for go. And I don't know why the arrow's curving around like that. However, what this actually does is wipe out all your work. So it's like, hey, let's clear the whole screen of everything that you've done. So if you do graph a point incorrectly, what you're going to do to fix that is make sure that you click the radio button for that point, whatever point it is that you want to redo, and then hit the garbage can, and that'll just remove that single point. Don't want to wipe out everything. Never click this button ever, ever, ever. So there you go. That's how you do that.